interview with the captive from the Sputnik Turkey news agency. Abdurrahman Abdul Hadi is a 20-year-old militant who says that he has been in the ranks of ISIL since 2013. He claims he was fighting mostly against the Syrian army, but was captured in November by Kurdish forces and is currently being held in prison. Abdul Hadi says he was trained by ISIL in Turkey and spoke in detail about the experience.
In August 2014, I was training in the Turkish town of Aden with one of ISIL's emirs. There were 60 of us in a village not far from the airport. Media reported that we were training in the Free Syrian Army's camps, but in fact, all 60 of those who were there were ISIL members. In the morning, we woke up and did training drills. Once a week, we had shooting classes, where we were taught to use Kalashnikovs, machine guns and other weapons. We had 2 instructors. One of them was from the military. He spoke only Turkish, so another one had to translate for him. We were trained in Turkey because ISIL's commanders thought it was safer there than in Syria because of the bombardments there.
Well, Ankara says it trains only Syrian rebels that are fighting against Islamic State, but the captured jihadist claims that the recruits moved freely inside Turkey and across the border as well.
I was making contact with Syrians who wanted to join ISIL and help them to arrive in Turkey and start training. After I finished the training, I went to one of the districts in the Turkish town of Aden. My task was to meet the newly arrived recruits from Syria. After the training, we sent them to the Turkish town of Urfa. From there, the recruits were transferred via the Turkey-Syria border crossing back to Syria's Raqqa. From there, further across Syria.
Well, rumors of Turkey's links with Islamic State have been circulating in the media, but Ankara strongly denies those allegations. Meanwhile, some have questioned how much Turkey's policies are influencing the fight against ISIL.
This is genocide, nothing else.
Despite the fact that NATO is heavily involved in the fight against ISIS, a report from the Norwegian Foreign Ministry reveals a secret that Turkey, a NATO country, is buying oil from the terrorists. Secret-held documents reveal that most of the oil that ISIS has smuggled out of Syria and Iraq has ended up in Turkey.
Basically, Turkey has a higher priority in the conflict in Syria at the moment, and that's to prevent Kurdish autonomy in the region because it fears that that could lead to separatist movements within Turkey. So ISIL comes second in Syria at the moment. I think that as long as it seems to Turkey that the result of defeating ISIS will be strengthening the Kurdish forces in Syria, then that's going to be a bigger problem to them than ISIS.
Turkey's leader has called for greater executive powers as president, citing Nazi Germany as an example of an effective ruling system.
When we look at other countries, we see that it is possible. You can see this when you look at Hitler's Germany and other countries.
Recep Erdogan said that the role of president in Turkey should be more like that of a chief executive, as is the case in other countries. Government officials were quick to defend their leader's words, saying his reference to Nazi Germany was actually intended to highlight what can go wrong. But that explanation failed to convince many in the media. One website even compared Erdogan's face with Adolf Hitler's. Twitter was also quick to react. Many posts also branded Erdogan the new Hitler. Others said that the Turkish regime is actually already reminiscent of a Nazi dictatorship. The controversy is only the latest caused by remarks made by Turkey's president. Last year, he said foreigners want the Turks dead and actually like seeing Turkish children die. In another provocative statement, he insisted that women and men cannot share equal positions, as that would go against nature. Erdogan also claimed that social media is the worst menace to society, and the Turkish leader publicly admitted that he doesn't care what the international community thinks of him or his actions. Jamal Wakim, a professor of international relations at Beirut's Lebanese University, says Erdogan's recent Nazi reference comes as a shock only to international audiences.
Well, I believe that this is not the first time that the Turkish leadership takes Nazi Germany as a role model, the current one. This is not new for the Turkish leadership. Maybe it's new for the international audience to hear that from him, because usually he refers to this on the local level. But this is the first time that he voices his thoughts on an international level, and that's why it might be a shock for the international audience, but not for the local one.